Hi, everyone. What does it mean when your ex suddenly reaches out of nowhere after 2 years of no contact? So let's dive in. Um, I think there are many different angles to look at when assessing, the intentions behind the reach out. Um, so one, what is the platform they used to reach out to you? Was it something like really low lift, like um no real risk to them feeling like rejected or whatever? Like I think that will give you a little bit of insight into like where their head is at. If it's just like a poke on Facebook or like a friend request on LinkedIn or like, so get um get a sense of kind of what the intention is based on the way that they're reaching out to you, or was it like a direct text message. So next, okay, if someone is reaching out to you and being direct, I feel like that's a little bit more clear. But sometimes when you've had this strong attachment to somebody, and then, you had a breakup and it was really difficult, and then all of a sudden you're getting some sort of like signal out of nowhere. It can kind of disrupt your emotional state. And so that's the other piece that I really want you to stop and recognize, like, okay, this person like poked me on Facebook, or this person like friend request me on Instagram, like after they blocked me and everything. So, what came up for you in your emotional state? And then being aware and like grounding yourself, like, okay, this triggered something, this brought something up for me. Like, get a little curious there on your emotions behind that. From there, then you can kind of decide, once you're aware of what it brought up for you, I think then you can kind of make the best decision based on what was their history of how they treated you. If you don't want any contact moving forward, like, you can make that clear, or you can just ignore it. So, if there was kind of like a mutual ending or whatever, like a respectful ending, and you are curious, like, to find out like what's going on for them, maybe they were working on themselves, maybe they um they want to see if there's potential still there. Like, you're never really gonna know unless you have some sort of conversation, candid conversation with them. So, um, the next part after you decide, this is healthy, like this, I'm in a healthy enough state, like where I can, whether or not things move forward, like I'm gonna be okay. And I think having a mindset check-in too, like before you make your decision, like, okay, regardless of what this person says, like I am going to be okay. And having that kind of check in and grounding work is going to be really helpful during this weird thing that happened. So, um, next is going to be, um, if you are able to have a conversation with them, you want to find out what is their intention and just try to be as, direct as possible, because you don't want to be wasting your time and energy into something that um might not be healthy for you, depending on what their intentions are in reaching out. um and then, of course, from there you can set up boundaries on what you are comfortable with. If they were reaching out and had no real intention to reconnect with you, or even find out what was going on with you, or be curious about your experience, and like, and if it's just surface level, maybe they're like having a hard time dating, and then they're like, well, she was hot. Like, maybe I'll reach out to her. Like, okay. So the reason I brought this up, y'all, I actually had an ex reach out to me after we had a very volatile, like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like violent or anything. You know what? As soon as I was saying that, I was like, "Oh, this comes off bad." But it was just like very like hot and cold. Like on my end, with the fearful avoidant tendencies, he because like the pattern that he had coming into it, he had a like abusive relationship prior to coming into our relationship, and so he was bringing a lot of that baggage, and like the way he would talk to me was like unacceptable, and I would break up with him, and then like it was like, whoa, okay, I don't want to be yelled at right now. Like, this is not okay. We're done. And I just had no tolerance for any of that. And then he would say like he was trying to work on it and all this stuff, and like try to get me to give him some leeway, and it was like, why is it so hard? Like, what am I doing that's making you like yell at me? It wasn't even like I was like doing anything. Um, so yeah, that was like the piece, the backstory behind the hot and cold, because it was like so it was so triggering for me. Like, I cannot be yelled at like that. And um yeah, it was just really crazy. He literally just texted me right now. Okay, but the thing is, like, he befriended me after the breakup had occurred. It was like he was not trying to repair when I was like, I needed him to show that he loved me. And it was like I needed a hug, and like I had said that. And I have told him like countless times like how to show me love and like what I would need in hard moments. Like, I need to feel like he still cares about me and like loves me and stuff. And then the last meeting, I remember it was like I was showing up, we were showing up to meet, but then he like literally said nothing, and then we're just standing there. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, he's literally gonna like let me walk away and like not even say anything, not even say how much he cares, not even try to hug me. Like, it was just so cold. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done. Like, I can't keep doing this. And so I drove off, and it took me forever to get over him, because it was the first time that I actually had feelings for someone, um after like 6 years of like going and hiding and like cutting myself off from the world. And like, okay, um here we are like 2 years later, after he blocked me and everything. He like blocked me from even Spotify playlists that he made for me, and like, it was like I like those songs, and it was like it was so like heartbreaking. And um it was just so hard, because like I felt like I was putting myself out there, being vulnerable and telling him like I needed him to show that he cared, and then when I show up, he like was ice cold. And like, and I don't want to be with someone that isn't going to um show me affection or love when I'm hurt and need the reassurance. And I was pretty clear about it too. And like, so like, some of you might be like, well, as a fearful of wedding, you tend to, you know, not tell people. But I was actually at the time like working on that stuff. And so he was aware that that's like my needs. And granted, I know that I needed work on like communicating in a healthy way, like because I came off pretty harsh. I'm just very blunt and direct. And I think that's a like also, he's just very indirect. And like a lot of his like I don't know why all these guys that I date, like they're so indirect. And I'm like, all right, come on. I'm running a business. I'm working full time. I'm doing all this other stuff. You think I have time to sit here and think about what you actually mean? Like, it's insane. I thought the guys were supposed to be the blunt, direct ones. But I digress. Anyways, so yeah, I feel like that's just like something I see a lot in Illinois, at least. Like, these guys are like afraid of everything. Okay, now it sounds like I'm bashing guys. All right, I'm sorry. I'm really not. I'm just really tired. Okay, so let's break down what he actually. Oh my god, that's crazy. I literally was about. Okay, so let me scroll up. And oh my god, that was a long ass freaking paragraph. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, can I get to the beginning? I ended up messaging him because he befriended me after 2 years of blocking me on everything. He blocked me on Instagram and like all this stuff, which fine, whatever. If that's what he needs to get over me, fine. Um, and so I ended up messaging him. I was like, hey, did you mean to befriend me on IG? Laugh out loud. Does this mean we're friends again? And then I sent him a picture of something, his niece. I was like, it's funny, I still have this. She gave me this like little stuffed animal and I couldn't throw it away. And then he's like, now we're officially friends, blah blah blah. And I think it was just like waiting to hear his response too. I was like, oh my God, it's bringing up so my emotional state like got it got pulled into this like anxious thing. And then I was like, all right, we need to just freaking cut to the chase. Like, this is insane. What, you're gonna message me out of nowhere or like friend me out of nowhere and then make freaking small talk? Like, no, we're cutting to the meat and potatoes. And I was just like, you were the first guy I had real feelings for in a very, 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 very long time. Haha. I don't think you felt the same about me. It like deleted messages. This is so weird. Okay. It's like missing messages. I've been trying to heal. It was something you said. Yeah, I actually said something, but it's not here anymore. That's so weird. Yeah, my phone's acting up. Um, something he said, like, stood out to me as I was going through my healing work because he had said at one point, he was like, he felt alone. And I was like, okay, well, at that point, I was like, he he would like not leave. I'd be like, okay, I have to wake up early. And then he'd be like, he's like here saying goodnight for like 10 hours. And I'd be like, dude, I can't freaking do this shit. Like, I don't know why that happens all the time. And then that's like a manipulation thing too. So like that's why I'm like, okay. And so like when he would it would be like I wasn't able to be myself around him because it was like I always had to be in this like protective mode because I know that he would just take my energy and just never leave. And it was like, Okay. Well, somebody's got to freaking protect this girl here. Um, so I literally was never able to relax and just be myself. Like I wasn't able to be myself. And and that happens a lot whenever I'm with a guy who leans more anxious and I'm not able to be myself. And it's a two-way street. I understand that I need to be able to practice vulnerability, but he and the other guys, they need to practice creating a safe environment. And when they don't do that, like I I'm stuck. I'm not able to be myself. And I was just pointing that out to him because I was like, okay, that was like a key thing that happens with people. And so I just thought it was like kind of interesting. And then yeah, and then so it had me kind of thinking like, okay, well, maybe I was to blame for a lot of it, but like honestly, like no, the yelling, that stuff is very unhealthy. And that's on him. Like he would yell like the drop of the hat. And I was just like, but anyway, so we're just chatting and it was just like he completely dismissed what I said and like about the okay, but I brought it up because I was like, okay, it's stupid. He's just like ignoring what I said. You didn't acknowledge my original statement. And then I was like, it took me literally forever to get over you. Blah. He said it was hard for him too. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. So and then I'm like, okay, not trying to sound like I'm attacking you. I was really devastated. Felt like you didn't want to repair and decided to cut it off. And he's like, yeah, I didn't really see any way to repair it. And then I'm like, if I think if you just gave me a hug instead of acting cold, it would have not happened like that. But maybe I wasn't being vulnerable enough to let you know what I needed. So the onus is on me to communicate in a healthy way. But also, if you don't want to show me love, then that part is on you. He literally didn't respond for like a day. And then he's like, yeah, I think we see things differently in regards to that. It's all good. We don't need to rehash it. So what were you reaching out to me about recently? And then I just like was like that right there was so clear that like okay, we don't need to rehash it. And it was so dismissive and like okay, what are we even doing here? Like why are you even like trying to friend me at that point? Like you're not a friend if you don't care anything that I'm saying regarding my emotions or like what I needed in that moment. And anyways, my phone I ended up resending messages. This was really weird. My messages got resent somehow. And he's like, "What's going on?" Because I never responded to that. I was like, I literally I was busy and I didn't even know like what even to say. Like there's no point. There was like at that point it's like it's not a two-way street and he shut off. So he's shutting down any emotional like connection or acknowledgement. So that's fine. And then I was like, okay, I wasn't trying to not respond. I didn't know what to say. And then I'm like, I reached out before to hear about your perspective, but with no intention of reconnecting. I need someone that's going to be emotionally attuned. then what was weird is that he sent me like this insanely long paragraph. I mean, insanely long, like couple paragraphs telling me who I am and like what I've been through. And it was like really weird. And it's like, it did not acknowledge anything. He just goes on and on. You've been through a lot. And I think the mechanisms you've developed. So he's okay just talking all about me. But when it comes to like talking about what I needed, nothing. It's like, it was like a complete deflection. Just talking about, oh, from the outside looking in, it seems like the trauma you've had in your life and the betrayals from people close to you might make it hard to live in that area of vulnerability, causing your mind to associate closeness with impending betrayal along with other things. And that's the case. I see how challenging it would be to let someone close to you. On the inside, you're a scared little girl who just needs to be hugged and feel safe. But on the outside, you're pricklier than a cactus. I hope you're laughing at that while you hate me for that comment. Okay. First of all, I don't really hate anyone. You're protecting yourself, blah 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, thank you for summarizing my attachment style. Like, well, we've all been aware of that's the case. I don't I don't need someone to tell me that. Like I know that. And like I don't and then I'm like, does he think that that was emotional attunement? Does he think that telling me what I am is somehow correcting his dismissal of what I had needed in that moment? So I don't know. I still, to this point, am very confused with the intention behind that long paragraph because it literally did not solve for the issue that I clearly stated. Like, what was missing in that relationship is emotional attunement. And he clearly lacks that capacity. And I'm fine with that. And then, like, what I realized during all of this, I'm like, okay, the initial thing, it was like, whoa, well, what if, like, we were able to reconnect and, like, solve the problems? But it's so clear at this point, like, I am good without him. Like, I am fine. I'm living my life. But there was that moment where I was like a little drawn in. And I think, if you're able, sorry, this like went on, but if you're able to really understand their like state and their intentions and like capacity level, like, I think that's really going to help you stay grounded in your truth and what is going to be right for you moving forward. Like, do you want to just like cut off all the communication? And at this point, I'm like, fine, like, I can have communication. I'm not getting drawn into him, like, thinking, like, what if? Like, honestly, I'm like over him at this point, and so there's really nothing there. He's not offering me anything, any emotional safety or anything like that. So I don't see any future with someone like that. And yeah, I just think the whole thing was like really weird and indirect. Like, and now and so on this call, he asked me if I've been to some place. It's like this like cold plunge place, which I actually, it's kind of crazy because I literally was gonna go later today. And then I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. You said that I literally was about to go there today. And then I was like, why? And then he's like, haha, I knew you would like it. So again, why is he having this like casual conversation with me when he literally just proved that there's no emotional attunement? There's no acknowledgement about any of the stuff that I said about what I needed from him and how he failed to do that, and the fact that he's like there I didn't see any way to repair it, so I didn't try. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's really that hard to like give a girl a hug. Yeah. I mean, okay. Maybe there's truth to that. I mean, like I said, I was like, I had defenses up, but I had no safety with him. I don't know. I think there's truth to both ends maybe, but I just know that this is not going anywhere. And if anything, I hope it was like a little bit helpful. Like if somebody is, trying to like mess with your head, whether it's on social media or whatever, like I think it's always easier to just get clarity and get real clear real quick. So you don't have to waste your time. Okay. Hope you guys liked it. Um, Please feel free to ask any questions in the channel. Um, Hope to see you next time. Bye.